Thank you. Please forgive my sunglasses. I couldn't read without. The light is too strong. Chairman, President, Provost, trustees, faculty, families and friends, staff. Did I forget anybody? Class of 2016. It is a great honor to address you today. And because I do feel the responsibility to tell you something meaningful, I decided I will deliver my speech entirely in Italian. What that would sound like. No. Rest assured. Rest assured, you will understand me, hopefully. However, allow me to say at least a few words in Italian. Nuotate via da me voi altri, mormorò Acab, sporgendosi a guardare in acqua. Barra sopravvento! Raddrizzala per il giro del mondo! And that, my friends, was the most relevant piece of advice I could possibly offer. The rest are all jokes and old stories. Be patient. What I said will soon make sense. And if you have taken a language course at Bennington, you've gone through this before. You sat through your first class conducted in a completely new language. You barely understood buongiorno e arrivederci. But we told you this was worth your while, and you trusted us. I mean, those of you who did not drop the class. During that same class period, we also told you that you would learn about Chinese, French, Italian, Japanese, or Spanish culture from the perspective of that same culture. And you were excited about it. About ways of thinking that might be new for you. And this, of course, was not true only for language classes. All the disciplines at Bennington foster a culture of new perspectives. Tomorrow you will begin your life away from Bennington, and you will need to take a fresh look at the world out there, at the situation in which you will be. And it doesn't matter whether you are on the threshold of a great career or you will be waiting tables while deciding what to do in the near future. You all will look around you at yourselves differently. So I thought this was a good moment to remind you of the benefits of adopting new or different perspectives. Let me explain what I mean by new or different perspectives. Martina, the female protagonist of the Italian writer Francesca Duranti's novel titled Left-Handed Dreams, used to play bridge every morning on her own. 4 players are generally needed to play bridge, as you may know. Martina distributed the cards every morning to the 4 cardinal points, and then would alone embody all 4 players and switch from one position to the next. This was for her an exercise in understanding viewpoints different from her own, and in looking at a given situation from several perspectives. The goal of such a practice was to open up to the other, in particular the possible other within herself. And this for the sake of peaceful human cohabitation. Without going as far as Martina, well, you can always try to play Scrabble with yourself in the morning, see what happens. I believe that the ability to adopt a new or a different perspective, different from the one you or others may hold on a specific situation at a given moment, may provide solutions, open up possibilities, provoke enthusiasm and a sense of accomplishment. Let me give you a personal example. I graduated in foreign languages and literatures in Naples at the University L'Orientale. When I was about to finish my coursework, I went to see my professor of North American literature, Ludovico Isoldo, an expert on Henry James. And I asked him if he would be willing to be my mentor and oversee my thesis writing. I had followed 2 courses with him, passed them successfully, and couldn't wait to write the thesis about Henry James. He shook his head and said, why does every student who comes into this office for a thesis assignment want to work on Henry James? First, let me show you something. He stood from his desk, reached a shelf on the other side of the room, and pulled down 2 very thick volumes. These, he said with a smile, are the latest theses that have been written in this department. The students work hard here. I remember only 3 words of their titles: An American Tragedy. Theodore Dreiser's An American Tragedy, of course. I I am not afraid of working hard, I responded with a smile while sinking inside at the prospect of embarking on such a lengthy mission. All right, he said. Let me show you something else. He returned to his desk, handed me a copy of Melville's Moby Dick across the table, talking about thick, then sat back and declared, that is the American Bible of literature. Everything has been written about it. Floods of ink have been spilled on its meaning and significance. See if you can find something new to say about this novel. If you can, I will take you on board. One wonders if that was his way to tell me that he already had too many students to supervise. At any rate, what he was asking of me was a fresh perspective on Moby Dick, and he made it sound like hunting a sperm whale would actually be an easier task. Well, this is how the story ended. I have something for you. There. That's how it ended. See? Oh. Oh. Sorry. I conquered the whale with honors. 2 years later from that conversation, and I embarked on a path that ultimately led me to US academia. And I loved that time of research and writing, of explorations of new ideas. If you're taking with you from Bennington a bag of tricks that might turn useful and even change your life at some point, I would encourage you to add to that bag the ability to look at things differently. At Bennington, you got a great head start in the art of adopting new perspectives. As freshmen, you were invited to explore areas of studies with which you were not familiar, and that required you to think about yourselves in a different way. Then we encouraged you to connect meaningfully some of those things you were studying within those very different disciplines. Who knew that chemistry and dance could come together so beautifully in the poem you wrote for your literature class? Who knew? Later on, we asked you to write your plan, and I'm sure that your family and friends have heard about the plan, maybe at 2 a.m. in the morning while you were crying about it. You wrote it. You thought again and rewrote it. Then we probably asked you to think again and rewrite it. How many times did you change your point of view on what was possible to achieve? If you were not aware of it before, when you wrote that plan, you learned you could be resilient, open-minded, creative. And while talking to your plan committee and advisor, you were perfecting the art of diplomatic yet honest conversation. I believe you're very well equipped for your next journey. Do out there what you have learned to do here. Make connections, be practical, flexible, resilient, and be open to the other in yourselves. She might have very good ideas for you. When you can, provide new and constructive approaches. When I wrote my undergraduate thesis, I had no clue that I would come to the US for my advanced studies and focus on Italian literature. I could have never imagined that I would be asked to consider my being Italian from a fresh perspective in order to teach things Italian. Who knew I was even Italian to begin with? An attribute that did not require my attention while I was living in Italy. And I was as Italian as almost everybody else around me. So my Italianness took on a new meaning for me. I had to look at who I was from a different angle. Everything around me was pointing at how Italian I was. My advisor, Jalal Kadir, and his wife, Juana, could tell you stories about my first days in the US, about how I thought that houses were so big because probably families had a lot of children. How I ordered a large pizza all for myself, because I didn't think it would be that large. How I asked for a medium Coke, and then looked at the cup as if I had just been served a bucket of Coca-Cola. I had to change my sense of proportions quickly, and not just that. You, class of 2016, won't have that problem, because you have learned here at Bennington how to welcome differences, rather than being overwhelmed by them, and turn them into opportunities for the betterment of your life and the lives of those who surround you. I trust completely your ability to reflect on your surroundings in constructive ways. This summer, like every summer, I will go back home. However, this year, I will go back in more than one way. It'll be a particularly meaningful homecoming because, besides seeing my family and doing my research, I will attend a conference at my alma mater, L'Orientale, for which I have organized a panel on one obscure Neapolitan author you may not have heard of, Elena Ferrante. By the way, it's Elena and not Elena. When I think of my summer to come, I feel I have managed to connect meaningfully over space and time, at least some parts of my experience. And I have no doubt you all will too. That is why I opened my address with that most important piece of advice, which is part of an excerpt from chapter 52 of Moby Dick, The Albatross. You have heard the beautiful translation by Italian writer Cesare Pavese, and I will now read the excerpt entirely in English. Swim away from me, do you? Murmured Ahab, gazing over into the water. Uphill! Keep her off the world! Round the world. There is much in that sound to inspire proud feelings. But where to does all that circumnavigation conduct? Only through numberless perils, to the very point whence we started, where those that we left behind, secure, were all the time before us. Come back, class of 2016, to tell us your wonderful stories. We'll be here, eager to listen, and my best wishes to you all. Thank you.